to show you my toys.
Hey, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the Mattel Batman Missions Bane action figure. The Batman Missions line is sort of more aimed at the kiddos. It's a $9.99 retail line found at many stores. I personally buy these figures to supplement the Multiverse line. They don't quite scale up as good. They are 6-inch scale, but not quite as tall as the Multiverse figures. But let me tell you, this Bane, he looks really good. Let's check out the packaging. So first, you can see, of course, we got a Batman logo at the top. We've got Batman 80 years in 2019. This is Batman's 80th birthday since his creation in 1939. And then you can see Bane. Nice, tough, thick, strong looking figure. Comes with these sort of chain and ball as well. And then the back side here, we've got Bane fighting Electro Power Batman and Nightwing. They got rid of the checklist on the back for their figures, which actually kind of disappoints me. So let's go ahead and open this guy up and see how cool he is. And of course, I did get two of this guy, one to open and one to keep unopened, so I can keep my complete collection of Batman Mission figures up to date. As you can see below, I have the entire line, both open and unopened. I always collect 6 and 7-inch Batman figures in the unopened package. So from the very top to the bottom, from left to right, we first got the Cannon Attack Batmobile. Next, the Batman and Robin vs. Bane 3-pack. I believe this will be the only multi-pack from this line. Next, we've got the two deluxe figures, the only two they've made so far. Air Power Batman and Air Power Joker. Next, we've got Air Power Batman and Batcycle. And then starts the basic line. All the rest of these figures are $9.99 basic variety. We've got Simply Batman, then Stealth Glider Batman, and then just Robin, the Joker, and Harley Quinn. Those there are the initial assortment when they first launched the line. Those are the ones they released. Next, Series 2 would be looking at Night Jumper Batman, and then Sonar Suit Batman, and then the Riddler and Batgirl. That was the second assortment they released. And the third assortment is out right now, and that includes Electro Power Batman, Nightwing, Bane, and Two-Face. If there's anybody I'm missing from this collection, please post it below. I would be extremely interested to find out. Alright, well now we got this figure out of the package. Here he is with all of his accessories. He comes with one thing, sort of a chain with some spike balls on the end of it. But let's take a quick look at this figure. I was pretty excited when I saw him in the store. I thought he looked pretty good. Maybe a little bit smaller than I would like for my Bane figures. But the mask looks good. He seems kind of like a regular Bane, kind of comic accurate. Look at that tube in the back of his head. He's got kind of like Dark Knight Rises, almost like sort of something going on his spine here. Big boots, nothing really major going on the bottom half, but he looks like a pretty nice figure for a basic line. Alright, now let's check out his accessory. Comes with this pretty large chain with 4 different spike balls on it. He'll presumably grab this and spin it around. Looks like either one of his hands should accommodate this. They're both open. Go ahead and put it in there. He's holding it. Looks like it should be able to spin around. Pretty cool accessory. Here's the back of the package with Bane using the accessory. You can see it's Bane versus Electro Power Batman and Nightwing. And here's my best attempt to reenact the scene on the back of the packaging. Next, let's check out the height of this figure. One of the first things I noticed was he was considerably shorter than the Bane from the Batman Missions 3-pack. So this guy here looks like he's sitting at just a hair above 6 inches, maybe a little bit below 6 1/8 inch tall. Next, let's check out this guy's articulation. So his head, of course, it can turn around. You can look up about that far, down about that far, not too much there. Shoulders, they go out a complete 90 degrees, even a little further on that side. Of course, they're on a ball joint, so they can move around, do all that fun stuff. We've got a single jointed elbow that can go up 90 degrees, and it's on a hinge as well. Really no articulation with his Venom tube. It is attached in his head as well as his hand here. He does have wrist articulation, and there is a hinge that goes up and down. He's got waist articulation, pretty basic. His legs do not go out. They go forward, full 90 degrees. Back, absolutely not at all. His knees, single jointed, go just about 90 degrees. And that concludes his articulation. Oh, there's a swivel at the shin right here below the knee. No ankle or feet articulation whatsoever. Here he is compared to a pretty basic Batman and Robin from the same Batman Missions line, just so you can see how they scale up with each other. He's size, height-wise, pretty similar to these guys, but definitely a lot bigger and bulkier. Here he is compared to the other Bane figure that they released from this line, the Batman Missions line. He was in a 3-pack, Batman and Robin versus Bane. I really do like this Bane figure. He's considerably tall and big compared to the other Batman Missions figures, which is kind of how I like my Bane. And then with this guy, if he was just a tiny bit larger, taller rather, he'd be a fantastic Bane. This one has a pretty cool light-up feature as well. Here he is compared to all of the different villains from the Batman Missions line. I hope we get Scarecrow, Man-Bat, Mr. Freeze, all the different villains they've made for the 12-inch line that they have not translated into the 6-inch line yet. Here he is compared to all of the different figures in the Batman Missions line that they've released so far. Absolutely all the Batman, sidekicks, and villains. Here's a slightly better aerial view of the entire Batman Missions line. Here he is next to some other basic 6-inch lines. These are 2 Batman figures from the Power Attack line. This was at retail stores for $9.99 way back when, and has evolved through many different basic lines leading up to the Batman Missions line. Here he is compared to a couple of other basic type of Banes. On the left here, I believe this one to be from the Power Attack line, a deluxe Bane with an action feature. And on the right here, this was from a Batman Unlimited line. It was actually a line that is the 3.75-inch scale. This guy was part of a 7-pack, but he was super oversized and kind of fits in with my 6-inch figures. Next, here he is compared to a couple of Batmans from the Total Heroes line. This was the next $10 6-inch basic line that replaced the Power Attack line. Here he is next to some Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice 6-inch Batmans from the basic line. These guys actually scale up very nicely with this Bane. This basic line from Batman vs. Superman kind of replaced the Total Heroes line, although I think there was a pretty big gap between those two lines. This was the $10 6-inch at retail line. And then here he is next to a couple of Batmans from the Justice League 6-inch basic line. That line was pretty much a continuation of the Batman vs. Superman basic line. There's now a Aquaman basic line out there as well. Pretty much Batman Missions replaced this line as the current $10 6-inch basic line at retail, and has very similar scale and articulation to these guys. Here he is compared to some DC Universe Classics, Multiverse, and DC Superheroes figures. We've got a couple Batmans and a couple Banes. Of course, this DC Universe Classics Bane is completely towering over this Batman Missions Bane, and he was exceptionally large in his own. Here he is compared to all of the different Banes I have in the 6 and 7-inch scale. And here is a better aerial view of him compared to all the different Bane figures in my collection. Here he is compared to all of my Dark Knight Rises movie Bane figures. This is the Toys R Us exclusive 2-pack shirtless Bane. This is the Mafex version of the Bane. This is a customized version made with arms from him, as well as the main part from regular standard release Bane to have the fighting sleeveless Bane when he broke Batman's back. This is supposed to be Bane from the final battle when he had a black sweatshirt or something underneath his armor. Batman Missions Bane. Bane when he was on the motorcycle with a red helmet, leather jacket. Bane made from leftover fodder parts, and then standard release Bane. So all in all, this figure does look pretty nice. My biggest complaint about him is he's quite short. If I were to rate this figure overall, I'd probably give him a 6 out of 10, maybe 5.5. His height is really hindering me from giving him a great score. He's a really good sculpt, great paint application. His head looks nice. His body's very thick and strong, but just a little bit short. The other Bane that came with the Missions figure is at least half an inch taller and is a lot more intimidating, and in my opinion, slices up better with the rest of the Batman Mission figures. So this is D Hunter. If you like this video, press like below. If you want to see additional videos from me, press subscribe. If you have anything to say about the video, put it in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, this is D Hunter, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.